here, we're back with another chapter of Meeting Up the Mind by LizzeXX. We are currently on chapter 16, which is the first chapter for the Girl in the Fireplace episode. Uh, if you want to follow along, which I really do highly recommend, because I have a habit of accidentally skipping words or stuttering over them, so really do recommend. Chapter links for both archive and fanfiction.net are in the description below, as always, for you to pick and choose. There's not really any difference, except for archive sometimes has like a picture at the end of the chapter. So like for every episode there will be like a picture for it, which will have Angel, and so it'll be one of the three chapters because that's how long an episode is in this story. But anyway, let's get right into this, shall we? With chapter 16, The Girl in the Fireplace, A Broken Clock. Screams echoed through the hall of the Salies, the Salies, as the aristocrats, all beautifully dressed for their party, ran from the ballroom. The sounds heard by a lonely blonde woman standing before a fireplace, the flames casting a warm glow so contrary to the coldness and darkness behind her out in the halls. "We are under attack!" the King of France shouted, entering the room and making his way over to her. "There are creatures. I don't even think they're human. We can't stop them." "The clock is broken," she replied, staring at the broken clock on her mantel. The glass front shattered. She reached out and gently placed a finger to it, tracing the cracks, as she smiled, not at all as fearful as the king seemed to be. "They're coming." The king stepped towards her, concerned that she wasn't moving. "Did you hear what I said?" He took her hand to pull her away, but she stopped and looked at him insistently. "Listen to me. There is a man and a woman coming to the Salies. They have watched over me my whole life. They will not desert me tonight." "What are you talking about? Who?" "My guardian. My angel." She looked up to see the king staring at her as though she'd gone mad. "No, don't look like that. There's no time. You have your duty. I am your mistress. Go to your queen." She turned back to the fireplace, crouching down and calling through the flames. "Are you there? Can you hear me? I need you now. You promised. The clock on the mantel is broken. It is time. Doctor! Angel!" The doctor stepped out of the TARDIS to see where it had set down on its mystery floor. They had debated for ages on what would be the best first trip for Mickey. Angel was insisting that it would be special. The doctor had taken Rose to the end of the world. She wanted to take Mickey somewhere equally as epic. The only thing was, there was so much to pick from. The universe was ever expanding. There were so many monumental events of human history, in all history really, that to pick just one was nearly impossible. The humans only knew their past, and tended to only think of events from that, but the Time Lords knew most of the human future, and had infinitely more options. It got to the point where Mickey himself had been too excited by all there was to pick from that he just said for them to put the options in a hat and pick from it at random. Angel had commented that they didn't make hats big enough to fit all the options in before gasping and saying they should go to Brava Scala. Apparently people there were giants. She remembered because she'd learned about them in school, and they reminded her of the giants from the fairy tales, one book of which was the last one her mother had read to her before she passed on. Mickey had laughed and shook his head, explaining he meant it as let a child pick. Just go anywhere, randomly. He hadn't meant to literally put everything in a hat, but that now he did want to go to Brad's Skull at some point, too. The doctor had grinned and hit a button on the TARDIS, setting the old box up for a mystery call, and there they were. Rose stepped out after the doctor, followed by Mickey and then Angel, shutting the door behind her before linking her arm with Mickey, eagerly watching his expression while the rest looked around the dark room, the stars visible through a few porthole-like windows. "It's a spaceship!" Mickey beamed, his eyes wide in excitement, making Angel laugh. Happy he was so pleased. She'd been hoping for that reaction. She really wanted to make his adventure with them incredible. "Brilliant! I've got a spaceship on my first go." "Looks kind of abandoned," Rose wondered, looking around. "Anyone on board?" Nah, nothing here, the doctor replied. Well, nothing dangerous. Well, not that dangerous. Nothing alive, Angel added. The doctor paused at her words. You know what? I'll just have a quick scan, in case there's anything dangerous. Rose and Angel smirked at each other as he walked over to a control panel and started pushing the buttons of it. So, what's the date? Rose asked Angel, knowing the girl seemed to have a knack of pinpointing her time. How far are we gone? 2,000 years in the future, Angel answered. 21st century. The doctor pulled a switch and the lights turned on, the roof slowly opening to reveal a window through which they could see even more of the stars. Dynamite Cluster. You're a long way from home, Mickey. 2.5 galaxies. Mickey stepped away from Angel and over to a porthole, looking out in amazement, as Rose walked over to him, putting her hands on his shoulders, smiling, while Angel went to join the doctor, looking around the control panel. Mickey Smith, meet the universe. Rose smiled. Do you think you like? So realistic, he breathed. Dear me, had some cowboys in here, the doctor mumbled. Literally, Angel agreed, her hand resting on the wall of the ship. Beside the wall? Got a ton of repair work going on, the doctor agreed, looking at the fried wires hanging above Angel's head. He tossed the piece away when a scream caught his eye. Well, that's odd. Look at that. All the warp engines are going. Full capacity. There's enough power running through the ship to punch a hole in the universe. And we're not moving. So where's all that power going? Where'd all the crew go? Rose asked, looking around as Angel made her way back to the doctor, looking at a few controls. Good question. You're right, Angel. No life breathing is on board, the doctor nodded, clicking a few knobs and buttons. Well, we're in deep space. We don't just nip out for a quick fag. No, checked all the smoking pods. He straightened up to sniff. Can you smell that? Yeah, someone's cooking. So they rose. Definitely, Mickey laughed. Angel paused in looking at the controls and pressed a button. A door slid open behind them. They turned and walked through it to see a part of the wall and floor looked like an 18th century fireplace. Well, that's something you don't see in an average spaceship, the doctor remarked as they moved closer. 18th century. French. Nice mantle. He pulled out the sonic and flashed it over the fireplace. Not a hologram. He knelt down to examine it closely, Angel peering around the back and sides of it as Mickey and Rose looked at the rest of the room. Not even a reproduction. This actually is an 18th century French fireplace. Double-sided. There's no room through there. Rose paused to look through a porthole to see space on the other side. There can't be. That's the other hole of the ship. Look. The doctor moved over, looking through the fire into another room, only to see a young girl with long blonde hair dressed in a nightgown looking back at him. Hello. Hello, the girl replied cautiously. Angel shuffled over to the doctor's side, smiling warmly through the fire at the girl, a smile waving when the doctor put his arm around her. What's your name, sweetheart? Renette. What's that? What a lovely name, she smiled, making the girl beam. Can you tell us where you are at the moment, Renette? The doctor asked. In my bedroom, she said slowly. And where's your bedroom? Where do you live, Renette? Paris, of course. Paris. Right. Oh, sure. Madam, what are you doing in my fireplace? Oh, it's just a routine fire check. Can you tell me what year it is? 1727, Angel replied. That's right, monsieur. Matt nodded. Lovely, he flashed a grin at Angel before turning back to Renette. One of my favourites. Organs is rubbish, though. They're rules. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for your help. Hope you enjoy the rest of the fire. Night-night. Good night, monsieur. Good night, madame. Good night, Renette. Angel smiled. Has a dream? The doctor stood, looking thoughtful, as Angel just returned to the right side of the fireplace and she examined it before. You said this was the 51st century. Vicky looked at Angel. And I said this shit was generating enough power to punch a hole in the universe. The doctor got in. I think we just found a hole. Must be a spatial temporal hyperlink. Angel frowned. Angel paused and looked back at him over her shoulder with a frown. What's that? No idea. He smiled at her, winking as she nodded and turned back to the fireplace. She opened it up. Stood on the same magic door. Vicky shook his head at that. He'd almost asked what it was himself, but he felt like it'd be a stupid question. Whatever sort of hyperlink it was, he just thought it was something they all knew about already. Something he should have known, and something the doctor would just make him feel like a bit of an idiot for asking about it. But he smiled too. Angel had asked. Angel had known, and Angel was brilliant. The more he thought about it, the more he figured he should just ask her questions like that in the future. She had a way of explaining things and not making him feel stupid for having asked. And if she didn't know, then it would be something they could learn about together. And on the other side of the Rose Doctor voice, magic door, before returning to normal, is pronounced in 1727. The doctor nodded, tossing his coat into the corner of the room and onto a table with bits of rubbish on it. Well, she was speaking French. Quite serious French, too. She speaks English. I heard her. Vicky looked at him. Rose put an arm around Mickey's neck as the doctor strode over to the fireplace, crouching at Angel's side, his hand on the small of her back, to see what had captured her interest so much. She hardly looked away from the fireplace since they'd seen it. That's the TARDIS. Translates here. Even French. Yep, knew it, Angel cried as she bumped something. Rose and Mickey looked over just in time to see the fireplace rotate with Angel and the doctor on it. Doctor! Rose shouted at the same time as Mickey called, Angel! The doctor and Angel could faintly hear their cries as the wall stopped spinning, releasing them into the bedroom at night. They looked over to see Renette sleeping peacefully on her bed, a clock ticking in the background. The doctor quietly made his way to the window and looked out to see Paris at night in the winter, as Angel frowned, tensing a bit as she turned back to breathe down at the fireplace. Something about the room must not be right with her. A horse neighed loudly and Renette awoke with a gasp to see two people in her room. It's okay, the doctor whispered. It's true. It's me, the fireplace man. Look. He walked over to a candle and lit it with the sun. She still looked a bit startled. We were talking just a moment ago. We were in your fireplace. Renette glanced between him and the woman at her mantel. Sure, that was weeks ago. That was months. Really? His eyebrows rose in surprise. Oh, Doctor? Angel called quietly, her gaze fixed on the clock on the mantel. A broken clock. He walked over to the fireplace, leaning over to listen to it as he knocked against it. Must be a loose connection. Need to get a man in. Who are you? Renette asked, watching as Angel tugged his arm and gestured to the clock. What are you doing here? The doctor's mouth dropped open, slightly fearful, as he realized what Angel had. Okay, not scary. You're scared of a broken clock. Just a bit scared, yeah. He nodded, his arm gliding around Angel's waist, pulling her closer, wanting to keep her near now that he knew there was a danger there. He couldn't bear it if she was harmed. Just a little tiny bit. Because, you see, if this clock's broken, as it's the only clock in the room, he trailed off, glancing at Renette. So what's that? The ticking of the clock grew louder as Renette looked around, scared. Angel quickly stepped away from the doctor and made her way to the girl's side, sitting on the bed beside her, putting a comforting arm around her. She knew the doctor had a soft spot for children, hardly able to stand, see them cry. She was much the same. She just hated even frightened. Fear, she thought, was almost worse than tears. Because, you see, that's not a clock. You could tell by the resonance. Too big. 6 feet, I'd say. Size of a man. What is it? The doctor quickly checked behind the curtains, finding nothing. Finding nothing, he turned back to the bed. Now, let's see. You were saying that tick. You were hiding in someone's bedroom. First thing you do, break the clock. No one notices the sound of one clock ticking. Two? You might start to wonder if you're really alone. He eyed the bed closely before crouching down. Tail the bed, right in the middle. Don't put your hands or feet over the edge. He pulled out the sonic, peering underneath the bed as Angel whispered comfort to the frightened girl, a hand through Renette's hair, much like her own mother used to do for her whenever she had a nightmare as a child. He turned it on, only for something to lunge at him, startling him back. He gasped as he scrambled to look underneath it again, only to see the feet of something standing on the other side of the bed. He slowly lifted his head, looking behind the girls. He could see in Angel's eyes and how she stiffened, that she knew something was there already. What? Don't look around, she murmured. There, behind the bed, was a man dressed in French aristocratic attire and a rather disturbing porcelain mask that made it look like it was veering down on an. You stay exactly where you are, he whispered to her as he straightened. Angel cast a glance back at the figure over Renette's head, a frown appearing on her face as her brows furrowed. Her eyes widened a moment later when she realized what it was doing before she turned to the doctor. They've been scanning her. He blinked at that, shocked. Hold still. Let me look. He leaned over and gently took Renette's head in his hand, staring her in the eyes, growing more disturbed before he straightened up and glared at the figure. What? You've crossed two galaxies in 1,000 years just to scan a child's brain. What could there be in a little girl's mind worth blowing a hole in the universe? I don't understand. It was me. Renette turned to the figure, frightened. You want me? The figure's head tilted mechanically to one side. Not yet, it replied. You are incomplete. Incomplete? Angel shook her head. How is she incomplete? The figure just continued to stare at Renette. The doctor glared at it, holding out the sonic and aiming it threateningly at the figure. You can answer her, you can answer us. What do you mean incomplete? The figure didn't reply, though it did take a few jerky steps around the bed towards the doctor. It extended an arm, a blade sliding out of the doctor's face. Monsieur, be careful! Renette shouted. Just a nightmare, Renette. Don't worry about it. Everyone has nightmares. He started backing away, the figure following him as Angel stood up. I cautiously moved after them. He jumped back as it swung at him before reaching the fireplace. Even monsters from under the bed have nightmares. Don't you monsters? Don't you monster? The figure slashed once more, but Angel pulled him aside just in time for the figure's blade to hit the mantle and get stuck. What do you monsters have nightmares about? Renette wondered. Us, the doctor shouted, jolting the fireplace so it moved. Ha! It spun around, back to the spaceship. Doctor! Rose shouted. Angel sprinted across the room and grabbed a gun-like object off the wall, knowing it would help, and turned to spray an icy substance all over the figure. It twitched, trying to get away, before it froze entirely. Excellent! Ice gun! Mickey eyed the gun appreciatively. Fire extinguisher, the doctor corrected as Angel handed the gun to Rose warily. He stepped over to Angel and put an arm around her, knowing that she still wasn't too comfortable with how she would just react to things before she knew she was. You see it in her expression just after the figure had stopped. She hadn't known what the gun would do, just that it would help, and ran to get it before she even realized she was using it. It had only been an ice gun, but still, she knew her mind had probably gone to what if it hadn't been? What if it had been a gun that destroyed something? He firmly believed, though, that if it had been a real gun, Angel wouldn't have even felt to use it. It just wasn't her. Where did that thing come from? Rose asked, eyeing the figure. Here, Angel replied, starting to feel better with the doctor beside her. She just had to remind herself that even that ice gun had stopped a figure from attacking Rose and Mickey too, and that was why she had grabbed it. Not to harm the figure, but to stop it from harming others. So why is it dressed like that? Mickey frowned. Filter it to France. Some kind of basic camouflage protocol? The doctor shrugged as he turned to eye the figure. See? Angel cut in, nudging him aside. Captain Jack was right. I just see the signs of any period clothes from France. Yeah, thoughtfully. He just rolled his eyes at that, but had to smile. He knew his hardest did, and he had to admit, he was more than a little eager to see her in her dress again. She was just so lovely when she got all dressed up. Not that she didn't normally, but seeing her in those sort of dresses, like when they'd gone to 1879, those gowns just emphasized their natural beauty with their simplicity. Angel was not a complicated woman, something he appreciated because it made him feel like he could understand her as well as she could him. Little things made her smile. Little things made her beautiful. He shook his head. The faint ticking of the figure reminded him that they still had to deal with it. He could daydream about her and gowns all he liked later, but for now he needed to focus. Something that would be hard to do with the object of his thoughts right beside him. He leaned forward to examine the figure once more. Not needlework. Sorry about the face. He reached out and pulled off the wig that was also attached to the mask to reveal a glass egg for a head with with a clockwork device within. Oh, you are beautiful, he breathed, pulling on his glasses to look more closely. No, really, you are. You're gorgeous. Not as beautiful as my mate, though. He shot a wink at Angel, making her smile. Still, look at that. Face clockwork. I love it. I've got chills. Listen, seriously, I mean this from the heart. And by the way, count those. It would be a crime. It would be an act of vandalism to disassemble you. He pulled out the summit, but that won't stop me. The droid sprung to life, teleporting away. Rose and Mickey turned around, trying to spot it, and the doctor stuffed the screwdriver back into his pocket. He ran back to the fireplace. Short range teleport can't have got far, he muttered before nodding Angel over as well. Should still be on board. What is it? Rose asked. Don't go looking for it, Angel warned them. Not sure if it was a feeling or just the fact that she knew how they could be. Curious, but still wanting to try and stop them. Where are you going? Back in a sec. The doctor nudged the fireplace, swinging them around to run outside once more. Rose looked down at the fire extinguisher, weighing it in her hand. You said not to look for it, Mickey told her, seeing what she was planning. Yeah, she did, Rose agreed, not serious. They looked at each other a moment before Mickey smiled and grabbed another fire extinguisher off the wall. Now you're getting it. They both turned and jogged out of the room. The doctor and Angel stood by the fireplace in a rather plush bedroom, decorated in red and gold, much different than the little girl's room they'd been in moments ago. Relax, the doctor called. Just checking you're okay. He looked around the room, stepping over to the harp and running his hand down the strings. He let out a soft chuckle as he thought about how humans typically portray the harp in the hands of an angel. He glanced at his own angel as she stood behind him, running her hands along the mantle of the fireplace, and he smiled at her, just watching her for a moment, but the sunlight reflecting through the window, making her glow. Her throat cleared. They looked up to see a young woman with blonde hair, dressed in a light blue period dress, standing by the doorway. Oh, the doctor turned to her, smiling. Hello. He quickly pulled off his glasses, surprised. We were trying to clean for that, Angel explained as she moved to the doctor's side, the fireplace forgotten for a moment. Is this still her bedroom? We've been away, not sure how long. Relax, an older woman called from a distance. We're ready to go. Go to the carriage, mother, the young woman called, and the doctor and Angel smiled. I will join you there. She walked towards them, a teasing smile on her face. It is customary, I think, to have familiar friends only during one's childhood. You two are to be congratulated on your persistence. Hello, relax. Angel smiled, hugging the woman before stepping back to the doctor's side. Goodness, how you've grown, the doctor added jokingly. And you do not appear to have aged a single day, she eyed them. That is tremendously impolite of you. Right, yes. Sorry, uh, uh, listen, lovely to catch up, but, better be off, eh? Don't want your mother finding you up here with strangers, do we? Strangers? How could you be strangers to me? I've known you since I was 7 years old. But you have, Angel laughed. We took the quick route on accident. Angel reached forward and touched a lock of Angel's hair, just wanted to be sure that the hug hadn't been her father active imagination playing tricks on her, and then placing a hand on the doctor's cheek for a moment before pulling off back, so still examining them. Hell, since you seem to be flesh and blood, at any rate, this is absurd. Reason tells me you cannot be real. Oh, you never want to listen to reason, the doctor shook his head. Angel smiled, especially when he's around. You know that the doctor? Why? He cried, mock offended, but just smiled at her. Mademoiselle, a servant called from another room. Your mother grows impatient. A moment, Burnett called back, before looking at the rather handsome doctor. She stepped forward, only for something to catch her eye. The doctor was holding Angel's hand. She smiled softly at the sight, looking up at them, realizing the relationship that must be between them. They were rather comfortable with each other, standing so close, smiling so widely at each other. She was surprised she hadn't seen it as a child. She'd always been rather observant, but then again, she'd only ever seen them twice, met them in person once, and then it had been dark both times, with a slight fret about the situation. Hardly a time to notice the interaction of others. So any questions? She sighed. So little time. Angel finished for her. Brett smiled at her, about to say something else when the servant shouted once more, Mademoiselle Possum! Brett rolled her eyes before turning to grab her purse off the table and dash off, moments before the servant entered the room. Possum? The doctor mumbled, realization growing on him. Brett Possum? He looked at Angel, growing excited. No way. Brunette Possum. She eyed him curiously. Later, Madame tell us. She still seemed lost as to the significance of that. Later, still, mistress of Louis XV and Crown Queen of France. He shook his head in amazement. Actress, artist, musician, dancer, politician, fantastic gardener, he laughed. Who the hell are you? The servant demanded, seeing the two oddly dressed people in the woman's bedroom. I'm Doctor and Mrs. Angel, he groaned as he dashed back to the fireplace with her. We just met Madame de Pompadour. He laughed manically as the fireplace revolved back to the ship. Rose? Mickey? Angel looked around for her companion, only to see there was no one there and sighed. I suppose it's official now that he's my companion. She looked at him. It seems like your companions never listen. Every time, he muttered as he stalked off, having to agree with her there. Every time, rule one, don't wander off. Tell her. He spun around to face her, still walking back as she followed. I do. Rule one. There could be anything on this ship. They rounded the corner to see a white horse standing in the middle of the corridor. The doctor blinked as the horse whinnied. Aww. Angel ran over to it, petting it as it nuzzled her neck, making her laugh. Can we call him Arthur? Mickey looked furtively down a dark hall, one of the fire extinguishers in the hand, before doing a forward roll, sprang to his feet before looking up at a surveillance camera as it moved towards him and blinked. Are you looking at me? He asked. The camera moved closer and he jumped back, to see a human eye at the lens. Look at this, he called to Rose as she joined in. That's an eye in there. That's a real eye. Then I moved back into the wall as the sound of a heartbeat echoed. Rose bent down to a small covering and tried to pull it away, snapping her hand back for a moment before quickly trying again. They looked in to see a human heart with wires and pipes attached to it. What is that? Mickey grimaced. What's that in the middle there? It's like it's wired in. That's a heart, Mickey, she breathed. It's a human heart. The doctor crossed the junction of corridors looking completely lost. Rose, he called. Mickey. He stopped looking down the corridor before spinning to face the horse as it trotted after him. Stop following me. I'm not your mother. Oh, but Arthur likes you, Angel said, patting the horse's neck as she walked beside it. Quite right too, Arthur, he spoke to the horse. You have excellent taste. The doctor smiled softly at that, watching the horse nuzzled its nose into Angel's palm as she pet him. He could tell. They did speak horse after all, that the horse rather liked Angel as well. But then again, he had yet to meet someone who didn't like the woman, who didn't fall in love with her in some small way. It's probably impossible not to like her. She's so sweet and kind. He just couldn't imagine anyone hating her. Well, except probably the Daleks. But they hated everyone anyway, so that didn't count. His thoughts, though, were cut off when the horse stepped forward and nosed him. He just moved away. He got upstairs to see a set of white French double doors and opened them to see a vast patch of land. Oh, this is where you came from, eh, Horsey? I told you his name is Arthur. He just shook his head fondly at her as they walked out onto the grassy courtyard. He nodded her over, spotting a familiar figure walking past, laughing arm in arm with a friend of hers. Angel sat beside him, leaning against the low wall until her to see Burnett. Oh, Catherine, you are too wicked, Burnett laughed. Angel quickly pulled the doctor down, moments before Burnett looked back in their direction. Oh, speaking of wicked, I hear Madame de Jeanette is ill, close to death, Catherine replied. They peeked over the wall and stood up when Burnett turned back. Yes, she nodded, serious. I am devastated, before laughing. Oh, indeed, Catherine agreed mockingly. I myself am strictly inconsolable. The king will therefore be requiring a new mistress. You love the king, of course. He is the king, Burnett sighed, and I love him with all my heart, and I look forward to meeting him. Catherine laughed, and Burnett turned back once more, convinced she was being watched, but seeing no one on as the doctor and Angel had ducked behind a pillar this time. There's something wrong, my dear, Catherine asked. Is that wrong? No. Burnett smiled softly. She linked her arm with Catherine's once more and turned to walk away. The doctor and Angel moving around the pillar to watch them leave. Every woman in Paris knows your ambitions. Every woman in Paris does them. You know, of course, that the key is to attend the Yew Tree Ball, Catherine asked before they turned a corner and their voices faded. The doctor smiled softly as the two women disappeared and shook his head. Looking back at Angel, he took her hand. Come on, we better find Rose and Nicky. Angel nodded and headed back inside. She couldn't help but feel a little twinge within her as she cast one more glance in the direction Renette had gone and back at the doctor. No, it wasn't a twinge for Renette. It was a twinge because of the doctor. Ooh, wonder what's going on there. Well, I know, but that's something for the next chapter. Speaking of which, I hope you enjoyed this chapter. If you did, leave a like on this video. Go leave a review, comment, Twitter, all that on the, like I said at the beginning, chapter link is in the description, so go. I don't want any comments. I want you guys to go to the story itself and show the author some love because they deserve it. They wrote this. I'm just reading it. So go. But before you go, be sure to subscribe. Upload videos every Friday and Saturday. I'll see you guys next Friday with a new video. Bye!